So it's that time of the week again, and this is this week's episode of Loaded Lounge. Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Loaded Lounge, and good shout out to all the Away Day Radio viewers and listeners as well on Saturday as well. Tonight we are joined by the fantastic lads from The Merchants, and I'm pleased to say that Harry and Joe from the band have been able to join us tonight. So good evening, Harry. Good evening, Joe. You all right?
Oh, good, mate. Yourself?
I'm not too bad. Is the weather treating you nice down in Liverpool as it is up here in the northeast?
It is beautiful, but it's not great for working in.
Yeah, no, I think we're at that point now where we're moaning about it, aren't we?
I know we're never satisfied. Get me words out. Us English as our. It's always either too cold, too hot. Just never satisfied our. So anyway, lads, thanks for joining us. Anyway, lads, thanks for joining us on the show. I think I reached out for you a few months ago after searching for all the new music that we're going through when we started to plan these shows, and I was, over the moon that you decided to accept the place on the show and take one of our slots and finally get to be on actually the new segment of the show rather than the original format that we had earlier. So, as I said, welcome to the show, lads. So the Merchants. Tell us a little bit about yourselves. How long have you been about? Is this the first band you've been in? Stuff like that?
Yeah, we've been about since 2019. Me and Joe have been in bands together before that. Played together since we started playing music, really. And then, we quickly got the other lads on board. But yeah, it was just a bit of a weird start. We probably only gigged for about 8 months. Once we got the band started, we gigged for 8 months, and then obviously we got locked down, so we've only ever released music during lockdown. The tunes we've released, we haven't played live since releasing them, so it's a bit strange, really.
So how was that first 8 or 9 months as you take on the first steps of music? How was that for you?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, it's just getting off the mark, isn't it? It's just trying to get your name out, trying to gig everywhere you can. It was going well, and then just all stops in its tracks. I mean, it's nothing that anyone else isn't feeling as well. So
yeah, I think felt like we were just building a little name for ourselves, like in Liverpool and stuff, and then obviously just couldn't play live again. So wasn't ideal.
Yeah, a few of the bands we've had on since we started the show, they've said this really similar sort of thing. The wheels were in motion and they were going in the right direction, and all of a sudden that lockdown came along. And put a big stop on everything, but different bands work different ways with lockdown. Some went into literally stopped doing stuff. Others, they went through the roof with what they started to do, and it allowed them to get their creative juices flowing, so to speak, sort of thing. So the first song I've got on your system, it was your debut single, "Hostile," which I think is an absolutely phenomenal song. I just love how it's in your face. It's really good up-tempo song, and it was one of the first ones I heard, because when I go and do all listen to all the bands and stuff like that, I don't just automatically go for the one that's been streamed the most. I literally just put a shuffle on and see what comes on. And "Hostile" was the first song that came on, and it just went, oh, lush. That made me want to listen to these even more. Sometimes there's a few acts where not every song that every band makes is everybody's cup of tea. But sometimes you might hit the first one, you think, yeah, it's all right, and you get into the rest of the stuff after that. But with "Hostile," it just literally hit you straight away. And in a way, it was that, in my opinion, it was probably your perfect debut single to hit everybody as hard as you could with a good song, upbeat, a good laugh, and just the way that you actually sing it as well, Harry. It's like loads of attitude to it as well.
Loads of growl in it, his big gravelly voice.
Yeah. I was going to touch on that later on, actually, because I think it's an absolutely phenomenal voice that you've got, Harry. And as the viewers will see and the listeners from away, they'll hear, your voice comes over different versions of different songs that I've found when I've obviously uploaded the videos, watched them, and listened to them on Spotify and stuff like that. So it's really good to see the variation in your voice, and there's someone that your voice reminds us of, but I can't quite put the name to it. But I've been trying to listen to other people think, yeah, there's slight similarity to that. There's slight similarity. Well, I'll touch on that a bit later on. But this is their debut single, and it is Hostile.
Slow down, give admiration to the king who wears no crown. Appreciate the things you live round. Someday I wish you could go back now. Profound, you make a statement and it's all far too profound to be coming out of your mouth. You're frustrated and you go sound. No doubt what you created was a storm. Won't cast me waiting for the walls to break down on their own accord. Of course it's all on me. You say you'll never change. Now it's all the time. Well, you're not my kind. Hit the wall and give no take. Always the fucking same. Now all the while it's getting hostile. Get seasick when you rock the boat. One more drink, then I'm ready to go home. We're just painted rust. It happened here many times before. Got no fears and I'm ready to let go of your tainted trust.
Class, lads.
Oh, I haven't actually watched that video in ages. It's quite a good video.
I was just thinking that,
Yeah, it's. You've had a haircut since that must have been halfway through lockdown, was it, Harry?
Do you know what? It was actually just before lockdown we made that. It was before.
No, it wasn't. Because we'd been in that studio like just before, and then I got ill, and then we released Hostile, and then Ben got in touch with us, and we like started working with him on videos and stuff, and obviously we done that, but I was terribly hungover that day, so I just had to sit there and wait for me time to come up, and then just get up for like 10 minutes and just go back to me pit at the other side of the room.
So were you ill, or was it self-inflicted, Joe?
Yeah, self-inflicted, yeah.
Knee sympathy, life of a rock and roll star, and it's part and parcel of the course, isn't it? So what was the thinking behind Hostile as your debut single then?
Well, we wanted something like raw and in your face and energetic, and yeah, I think it come across like that. I mean, I think Ernesto, our guitarist, brought that riff in, and he had the riff for like how long has he had it? Like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, he'd had it for ages. Yeah, when he was still living in Mexico, he wrote it and he had it like recorded on a little like 2-minute snippet he'd done on his laptop, didn't he?
It was like quite different the way he had it recorded, and then he brought it into the band, and we were like, yes, we like that. Let's have a go with this. And,
to be fair, he didn't tell us how old it was until like 3 months ago. He showed us the clip, and we were like, no way.
Because I think it definitely has the desired effect, like you said, because that was, as I said, when I listened to it the first time, it had that in your face, hit you hard, just like you said you wanted to do. So it obviously worked how you wanted to do, because it worked on me.
I mean, big credit for big credit for James Grant down in London as well, who we went down to record with. I think he really got what we wanted from the tune, and he got it down well.
So you said that was at the start, literally around the start of lockdown last year, then. So was that literally when you hope your career was about to go here? Then obviously you just like smack brick wall type thing.
Well, yeah. Am I wrong in saying, Joe, that we recorded that in February at the
tune? Yeah, I think it was February, and then it was just like a few weeks after that we were locked down.
Yeah,
because it's a great song, as I said, to kick it off. But then you must have been on such an extreme high with that release and the recording, the video, and then all of a sudden, I suppose for everyone though, came crashing down to earth for just that small bit of time to then have to refocus. So when you came off, obviously it hit back down to earth. What did you start to think? Because obviously that's when you had to start doing all the Zoom type stuff like what we're doing now. And what did that do to plan your direction, like you wanted to go with the band?
Sorry, mate, you were just breaking up for me a little bit there.
So yeah, just want to say, obviously the way that lockdown hit, and obviously everyone sort of like fell off a ledge and have to start again. How did that make you refocus? How you were going to then start to aim like for the way that you want to go forward with the Merchants?
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't think we ever knew how long it was going to go on for at the time. When it first came about, we were sort of planning, thinking, towards the end of the year, maybe even the summer, might be able to get back out there again. And so we tried to start writing tunes differently, didn't we? Like Roots Hold the Trees, we actually wrote that during lockdown. It was brand new from them. We wrote it through like sending each other clips of like little parts of the tune. Like I'd send it in, and then Joe sent me his part back, and we'd piece it all together for the demo. And then eventually got down to record it. So it was like it was weird, but it was good because we could spend more time with yourself and like really thinking about your part of the tune. A different experience, probably not ideal, but
I suppose one thing is that it means that obviously when you were saying you got to focus on your own part, it means you weren't rushing things because you had that time to make it 110%, if you know what I mean.
It was a good way to work, because like obviously when you're just working on tunes in the pracky room, you've just got to run through the tune so many times until you get something really, and then go home and work for it, like work on it yourself. But it was good to have that time to literally spend all day on one bass line and then send it off to the lads and then see what they think.
So obviously lockdown was hard for a lot of people. I think one thing that made it was a lot easier, especially for yourselves, obviously. Are you actually signed at all, or are you unsigned at the moment, lads?
We're unsigned band, yeah.
You're unsigned. Like I think 95% of the people we have on the show are unsigned. And I think obviously when we asked the question, obviously how did lockdown affect you? I don't think it affected people as much as people thought it was, because the way that like social media is nowadays and all the streaming platforms you've got, you're still able to get that new music out there. It's not, and I've said this umpteen times, it's not like when music was time when I was younger, when I was a similar age to you only really found out people who were on radio. We didn't have all these options to streaming platforms. and obviously like stuff like YouTube wasn't really focused on then for music videos. You didn't have Spotify, Twitter wasn't in existence, so it's allowed me to be able to access a lot of more bands, and obviously that works for you because it allows you to get your music out there still, even though the world's at a halt, so to speak.
Yeah.
It's definitely easier with something like this nowadays, isn't it, to stay connected? Like, you can have friends all around the world and stay in touch with them, know exactly what they're doing each day. And the same way you can put tunes out and people hear them. But if there was a pandemic, like say the 90s or something, you wouldn't be able to print CDs or anything, would you? So
I definitely think it's worked in our favour, with like people being able to hear the music even though we can't play it live. But then there's like so much of it out there because everyone's doing the same thing. I think it's quite easy to get lost within all the other talent that's out there, even just locally as well. There's a big music scene going on at the minute.
Yeah, to be fair, since we started doing the show at the start of the year, you can find these little hotbeds of new music. Like there's a big scene in like the Midlands, the Northwest. There's always been a hotbed of music in the Northwest. Liverpool, Manchester, sort of stuff. Even as far back as I can remember, and even if you want to go back, you can go back to the Beatles and stuff in the '60s, which was when all that sort of rock and roll and pop sort of stuff really started going. But yeah, there's all those little hotbeds going around, and it's good that everyone's music scene's growing, not just locally but nationally as well. But it's also, as I said, with the platforms, like this, you can get your music to different countries as well, a lot more accessible as well, which is really good. One of the things I did notice about obviously lockdown, and I don't know whether it was just a local thing with yourselves, but you put on a fundraiser for the NHS. Is that right, in the Liverpool area?
Sorry?
Did you put on a fund? There was a fundraiser like event for the NHS. That was where you played part of the MS Arena, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, of course. It was Liverpool Music Digital Festival, and he actually done two of them. He done one at first, which was just completely online, and you went away and made your own video and edited it yourself, and then it went out live. And then the second time around, it got bigger, and they got the M&S Arena on board and a few different venues around Liverpool. I think Phase 1 was on board and other places. And they had different stages. It was a brilliant experience. Like it really
looked like I was thinking, watching the video, and I was thinking it must have been such a surreal experience for you, because I can imagine when the first time you just thought, oh, if I ever get a chance to play, because obviously it used to be like the Liverpool Echo Arena, now it's the M&S Arena, you'd expect it to be full to the rafters, everybody singing along and jumping around at yourself. And there you are in an empty arena. So it must have been a highlight to actually play there, but under weird circumstances.
Yeah, when I tell people about it,
you are.
When I tell people about it, it won't be empty.
Yeah, there was 4-5 people there.
No, it actually was. There was a massive camera crew there. It was like festival quality. I mean, when I watched it back, I was surprised myself, of how good quality it actually was. But there was a big staff there, and yeah, that's spot on. The sound.
If anybody actually wants to watch that performance, it is on your YouTube channel, the Merchant Music. Where it's about a 30-minute set, isn't it? That you actually recorded for it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's quite fitting, really, because what I decided to do to fit that in there, I've actually went with one of the songs that you actually recorded as part of the festival that you put on, and because of the songs that we recorded and stuff, it was nice to feel it was the one that I hadn't seen elsewhere on your YouTube channel. So I decided to go with Creative Mind. So what was the thinking about having that there? Because obviously it's not on your. Is it a song that's due to come out? Because obviously I know it's not on your Spotify or anything at the minute. Is it one?
It's just more of a live tune, really, isn't it? It's just feels good to play live, and people seem to like it. So we've just been playing it, but we haven't planned to record it at any point.
There's nothing wrong with having a live tune. There isn't so. So lads, this is Creative Mind at the M&S Arena.
one's State of a Creative Mind. Silence that has your four-track riled, and it's frightening the things that make you smile. The trait of a creative mind. You're quick as lightning, you're not shy of the spark, and you entice me, and you flip my switch, take flight. At the same time, gobstoppers and chewing gum. I'm a light bulb, babe. You turn me on. Dark movies and books of love, things I see you do all the time. The state of a creative mind. Don't fight back, just to let your course unwind. Well, you're on the attack, but I understand just why. Another state of the creative mind. Intuitive, you got a mind that don't stop ticking. I knew it when I met you, you don't stop thinking. Creative minds, danger in creative minds, danger in creative minds, danger in creative minds. Gobstoppers and chewing gum, I'm a light bulb, babe. You turn me on. And dark movies and books of love, things I see you do all the time. The state of the creative mind. Thank you.
As you said, it's a fantastic live tune. It's a shame that there was no one there to experience it, really, because of the event you were on. But it still doesn't take away what a good song it is live, though, does it? So, I think that's a good way to take into the next part of the interview, is where what's your current plans going forward for the Merchants now that finally this week restrictions are now lifted? We've got obviously penciled in. I know a lot of festivals have fell by the wayside this year and stuff like that. But how have you fixed yourselves for the next, 6 months or so? I've seen on your Twitter that you've got there was a couple of gigs that you've got lined up. If I'll just find that, I think you've got this one coming up. It comes up on the screen. There we go. The festival. Is that part one? Is it? That's at the end of this month.
So there's that one, and then there's two over the water. Well. But yeah, we're playing that one's 2 days, I think. the Liverpool one, and then that one there's in Birkenhead.
That's the next one coming up for us. We played the festival recently. It was a food and drink festival in Hatton Park. That was on Sunday. That was like it was just good to be back, wasn't it, in that sort of environment again.
It was weird being back up there, wasn't it, for the first time in like a year and a half. It was weird. I felt
like before we went away, we sort of built a bit of momentum, got more confident with playing on stage, and then we've had this like year and a half break, and then we come back on, and I was like, oh my god, I'm playing in front of people again.
Did it feel like Did it feel like a new start, like you were starting over again?
To me, it did,
Yeah. I mean, like, I feel like we've definitely progressed as a band since then. We've still managed to get in and practice whenever it's been available. But yeah, I mean, in terms of playing live, it was like starting again. Yeah.
Learning to play with sweaty hands again and all that, innit?
Yeah.
So obviously you've got those two festivals, and then you've got a bit later in the year, you've got your gig at EBGB's in September. So are you actually headlining that gig yourselves, or is it a supporting role that you're playing?
No, that's our own gig. That through Scruff of the Neck. So we're trying to push out for the sellouts on that.
That's our main one. So if anyone's in the area around that time, make sure you get a ticket. It'll be a good night.
For all listeners, the way they read it that can't see the screen, that is Saturday the 18th of September, EBGB's in Liverpool. If you fancy getting on down and seeing the Merchants live, which will be obviously a fantastic experience, and to listen to them live. So, just a few more things, but we'll go on before we start talking a bit like football and stuff later on. What's your musical influences that's played a part in how you see your music wanting to be, or how you'd like the sound to be, sort of thing? Obviously, I can see. Obviously, you've got your Doors top on there, Harry, and it's funny actually. I've mentioned that. You did have a one in there saying that Daz thinks that your voice sounds a bit like Jim Morrison. So that is some compliment, that, mate.
Do you know what? Someone told me that I sound like a drunk Jim Morrison once, and I was like, "That's the best thing anyone's ever said to me."
Yeah, you'll take that every day of the week, wouldn't you?
Pretty sure he was always drunk anyway. So
yeah, that's true.
But obviously,
Jim Morrison.
Obviously, during that live video that you did with, I saw Joe had his Libertines t-shirt on. So are there bands that you took influences from, like the Doors and Libertines, or was the other ones that had played more of a role on you growing up and stuff like that? I
mean, I think between the band, our influence are quite split. I think me and Joe listened to quite similar music through the years, and
I'd say the Libertines, probably with me and you, have had a big influence.
Yeah,
just when we were growing up and stuff. But then it's pretty split, isn't it, between everyone else? Like,
yeah. I mean, we've all got our own individual ones. I think between the band, it's me and Joe have got quite a similar taste in music, like the Libertines, the Doors, Bob Dylan, like a lot of songwriters. Whereas Harry Strachan and Ernesto, the drummer and guitarist, are very like Zeppelin and John Mayer. And then others going down that sort of route. But like, I think as a band, if you're going to pin it, I think we've got a bit of like the Kings of Leon in us and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, it's actually quite weird, because when we were talking before about that gravel to your voice and stuff like that, and I was thinking he sounds a bit like the lead singer of Kings of Leon in touches, when you get that little bit of rasp out of it and the gravel and huskiness to your voice. And I was also thinking, only because of one of your lyrics in one of your songs, it says word gets around, which brought me straight to like the Stereophonics and Kelly Jones, because especially when he sings live, you do get to hear that huskiness a lot more than you do when he's like stuff that's being recorded in a recording studio, which I think,
especially in the more like slower Stereophonics tunes.
Yeah.
Done about getting his car stolen in the petrol station and that's a tune, but he's so bluesy in it.
Yeah, especially the way he sang Handbags and Glad Rags. When he did that with Jules Holland, and it was a fantastic version. But you really hear how husky and raw his voice is. So I think Harry's got that sort of mix of probably Jim Morrison, the Kings of Leon, and Kelly Jones all rolled into one.
Wow.
Which I think I got to compliment the half that, Harry. You've got to take that. So, like, seriously, I think it's good to to have that sort of power. But I think when I was picking the songs, it's good that you can see how your voice comes across in different songs. Like if you listen to Hostile and how that gravel comes out and how raw it is in your face, and then you go on to your new single, Together Alone. I think of all the songs you've released so far on Spotify and on your YouTube channel, it's a lot calmer, isn't it? It's a new little sort of direction that you've took your writing sort of thing. So, what made you release that song now, sort of thing? Was it just that you wanted to show a different side of you, or?
Yeah, I mean, like it was a song. It was a song we were playing a lot of the time, and I think it was actually the producer we were working with. It was still James Grant down in London. When we sent him a number of our tunes, he picked that one out and was like, "That's the one. You should record that." He probably picked it up for us.
Oh yeah, we had something else planned, didn't we? And he sort of wanted to work on that tune, so
yeah, we were quite keen to do
it.
that. Yeah, we thought if he wants to work on that, he's going to put a lot of time and effort into it. He's obviously got a vision of it. And yeah, it does show that other side to it, which we do have a lot. We do have a lot of slow tunes working in the pipeline, don't we? So,
I suppose it's good if you want to do like an acoustic set type of thing, and you can, it allows you to do a whole set in that sort of genre. You know what I mean? But it's also good for your live gig because it gives that time where you have a bit of breathing space. Just take a breather yourself. Obviously, stuff like you saw like Hostile and Roof to Hold the Tree. They're really up tempo tracks. So all of you will be putting a lot of energy into that. So it's a perfect sort of transition. Just have a little breather, regain a bit of energy and stuff like that, fluids and whatever, and then hit them again with your second half of your set, sort of thing. So it's perfect timing. What we'll do is we'll go into playing your new single, Together Alone. Another great song, lads. Another great song.
Cheers.
So, what was it like recording at the Olympic Studios then? Because obviously the next song we're going to hear after as well was also recorded there as well. So, what was that like?
Oh, it was brilliant. You know, it was a boss experience. That's the guy I keep on mentioning, James, when we were down there. It was like that was the first place we recorded. That's where we recorded Hostile, and then Roots Out the Trees, Together Alone, and Gloves Up Fool. And the first time we were there for a couple of days, and then the next time we were there for like 5 days, and it was one of those jobs where you pull mattresses out and sleep on the studio floor. And we just had a laugh down there, as well as had fun making the tunes. We just had a laugh the whole time. It was a good experience. Right in the centre of London, in this it was like a proper community, wasn't it? Like a songwriting community where you meet a lot of other bands.
Yeah.
It's quite funny. You started off that straight away with it was a boss experience, because we had a conversation before the show started about and people who obviously know the channel well. Chris, one of our co-hosts on the channel, he's from Liverpool as well, and he always goes on about boss this and boss that. And Daz, who's one of our other co-hosts, is actually watching the show as we're here, and he actually turned around and said, "This is what he actually had to say about Together Alone." Great tune.
Yes.
So. That is actually from Galway in Ireland, so it's even going up to the far side of Ireland. This boss now. So if anyone who doesn't know what boss means, it's like that. It's spot on. It's class type of thing. So I think that's how I interpret boss as class, spot on type of thing. So cool. So just before I go through to the next stuff, I'll do all the promotions with all our sponsors and stuff like that. So. As everyone knows by now, the show goes live out on YouTube on our channel, but also it gets played out to our partners Away Day Radio. That's on their Facebook as we speak. The recording of the show will be going out on Saturday between 1 and 2 on Away Day Radio. And we both have a mutual sponsor called Mind, Body and Soul. If anyone who doesn't know who Mind, Body and Soul are, they're a mental health charity mainly aimed at men, but obviously as the charity grows and how mental health really affected a lot of people over lockdown, they are branching out to cover everybody, but it was set mainly to focus on men's mental health. You can find them at his website, which is www.mindbodyandsoul UK. If you want to contact them by email, if you don't want to speak to them on the phone, it's help@mindbodyandsoul.uk. And what the fantastic things that Mind, Body and Soul actually do is they produce a line of merchandise that goes in with the Adidas 3 type, the indie band type things that you had with the Oasis and all your Adidas Gazelles and all them sort of stuff. But they've actually brought in some lines, so some colorways like that. You can see there your sky blue, which I know it's probably not your cup of tea, but obviously being Reds yourself to see a Man City top in front of you. But as I said, just pure examples of what sort of stuff they do. T-shirts in various different colours, hoodies as well that some of the lads from the Lord have got. Get your bucket hats as well, all that sort of indie band type theme on that. The good thing about all the merchandise that they do, it's all a reasonable price, but every single bit of profit that's made from the merchandise goes straight to the charity and helping people who really need it. It can be people who can't pay their bills this month for whatever unforeseen circumstances. So it could be they've got no way of getting to work for the rest of the month. It could be they've got the gas and electric's going to get cut off. Little things that can cause great stress to many different people, which might cost £30-40 to us might sound nothing, but to them it could be a mountain that they don't think they can get over. So those little amounts can stop people getting down that rabbit hole of, where their mental health's really affected, and it can actually develop to a worse stage. So obviously I know you were all in the NHS stuff when you did that concert and stuff, so it's good to have people focused on the mental health after the way that lockdown is, and now that all the restrictions are finally lifted, it's great that we can get back out there and see new music again, which is one thing I'm looking forward to, getting back out to gigs as well. So a couple of ones that we actually questions we had in. There's a question from Paul. You want to know what the inspiration behind Merseyside Mondays was?
Yeah. Well, what was the inspiration? I suppose that's a bit of lockdown and trying to keep busy. and we were talking about all the Merseyside bands. I think there was a question at some point, how many Merseyside bands can you name? And while we were doing it, it was sort of like, oh, hang on, we can do covers of these and put them out there, Merseyside Mondays. We should really get back to it.
We should get, because we done it from the 60s through to modern day, didn't we? And then we were gonna just start again, but it just got. I think you were ill for a couple of weeks, weren't you? And then it just didn't start back up.
There was sore throat, and then after that we didn't get going again. We should get back to it though.
No, have to mix it up. Do Manchester Mondays,
Mondays or something. Yeah,
Torquay Tuesdays.
It was funny how we actually met. I was mentioned briefly about our co-host Chris. He's actually managed to pull himself away from his night out with his workmates, and he's actually joined us for the last half of the thing.
He's way.
He's actually joined us. He's actually commented there. Evening, boys. Simon at the party. Where are the merchant lads from in Liverpool?
We're from the Wirral, us, mate.
This is we've misled him. Over the water. He'll be calling us a wool.
So you're more like the Tranmere Rovers, if you would, the football type thing. That's the Wirral, isn't it? Am I right on that?
Yeah. Ernesto's the most Scouse in our band. He's from where does he live? Wavertree.
He lives in Wavertree, yeah.
But he's from Mexico.
Yeah, he's from Guadalajara.
He's just saying it's class listen to familiar accent rather than mad ones like us, because we've got two Irish ones. There's myself as well, the Northeast as well. But Daz, just want to let you know, if any of your family members, and this is a running joke with our channel, right, and you might think this seems really, really bizarre, but he's just said, if any of your family members need any Avon, just give us a shout. We can send Chris round. He'll give you some loaded discount. Just take that with a pinch. It started off with a little Avon joke once, because he wasn't on our show one night, and we said, oh, it must be selling Avon or something, and it literally just spiraled from there to even like we had Avon commenting on one of our tweets the other day to find out what was going on. We've been trying to get him a sponsorship with it and stuff, but he says no, he's just replied back to what you were saying about the Wirral, and then because he was brought up in Formby. He just wanted to answer that as well. He doesn't work for Avon. All right. So we're running the last 15 minutes of the show. So what I want to do now is I want to play another one of your songs so I can get all your songs in first. And what I wanted to play next is I actually wanted to play you my favourite song. And I absolutely love Roots Hold the Trees. And it's like hostile. It's in your face. It's one of those ones. The sun's out, the car window down, drive. It's that sort of drive. You just have the speakers blaring. It's just one of those songs. It's a really, really good feel good song. And as I said, I absolutely love it. So without further ado, this is Roots Hold the Trees.
Shall I do the clap again? Roots, take 3. Thought I'd see you fall adrift, now you surrender to the game when you follow blind. Pretty much a pacifist, your temper can take hold of you sometimes. It's impossible to talk to you, you're always right, always right. Of course, you set the sights. When I went to talk, she told me of your misery. I really thought your time had come, but then again, so do we. Tried to pull yourself away, it's got you tied up hardly. Forget about the branches, the roots will hold the tree. New down, walks alone, reach the world, be left above. An old trick to trip them up, leave you biting at the bone. Hook line, he'll drink tonight, he'll have the bitter twist, he's cold as ice. Of course, he set the sights. When I went to talk, she told me of your My empathy is gone. Peel the mask from off your face. The enemy is won. In a smile should explain. It cuts the former sky.
Simply Boss.
Oh, nice one.
Oh, that's Chris Bed. Tune. It is. I must admit, I just love that song. It brings every similar feeling like hostile. I mean, it puts a smile on your face. You know, it's perfect. Song to cheer you up, get you in the mood. If you want to get out on a night out with the lads, if you're going to drink, that's the sort of song you want to listen to. The build up,
going out tune in it.
Yeah. It's like, you know, it's one of those songs you could put in your playlist. You'd be like a feel good playlist.
Yeah.
Just class. So let's get on to one of the aspects of the football. Now, what Harry said in chat, you're both Reds, so you're both Liverpool fans, yeah?
Yeah. Man.
So, first Premier League title, the season gone after, season before last. What was that like after waiting for so long to win it?
Unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal. It was boss, but to do it with not being in the ground and stuff was disappointing. But we've had a good couple of years anyway, haven't we? So
I mean, yeah, it was a long time coming, wasn't it? Like coming so close so many times in the past years. You just thought it's never going to happen. And like even when we were like 15 points clear, 20 points clear, I was still going, I'm not saying it. It's not happening yet.
Yeah, I remember the United game. That was when like Anfield first sung it, and even then I was a bit like, don't know whether to sing this or not.
So, you know, it's been a long time since any Newcastle fans have actually seen our team win anything. So that's obviously it must have been obviously you'd won a few Champions Leagues in that time, obviously other European competition, domestic trophies. But it was your first Premier League title since it was created, because you with you know, your last major honours, domestic honours, league-wise, were when it was still the old Football League. So was this the first? Were you alive when they won any of the Football League ones, or was this like your first league honours that you've actually remember yourselves?
Yeah. This is the first time we've ever seen Liverpool lift the league. Like, as I say, it was probably like 30 odd years before was the last time we done it.
Yeah,
30 years, wasn't it? 30 or 31.
Late 80s, wasn't it? So it was
1990, I think, was the last title.
Yeah, late 80s, 90s. So it's, you know, I think it must have been that it was like last season. It obviously brought us back down to earth a little bit, because I think there was a lot of people writing us off that it was like a one season wonder. And I remember we were actually discussing it on one of our earlier shows this year, that I think what people are forgetting is a lot of your spine of the team were missing this year. You know, Henderson was out for long periods of time. Van Dijk was out from October, and he's probably the best centre half in the whole of the Premier League, not just your team. And then you start taking out your best players in any team. Doesn't matter whether it's from the champions or whether it be from someone like Norwich. You're taking out your spine, and that is a huge impact on any team, not just yourselves. And I think what got like a lot of Liverpool fans was the way Van Dijk's injury happened. Because obviously it was
it was a killer. That like it was a killer.
Merseyside derby. to be fair, we felt it even worse because we hate Jordan Pickford and Newcastle fans. So we absolutely hate Jordan Pickford. So how we didn't even get sent off for it. Oh, do you know what I mean? It was absolutely good and you know.
They gave offside for it, didn't they?
Yeah, it didn't even.
What's that all about?
Not even
I think it was probably the worst way you can lose your best player. The fact that, you know, if he'd done that to someone on the street, he'd be locked up for it.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing. You know, luckily, I know, to give the offside, it's scandalous.
And then right at the end of the game, they rule an onside goal offside.
I know
we're gonna get some stick off Evertonians here, aren't we, on Twitter?
That's all right. It's all friendly banter. That's all it is. So yeah, the one thing about it was hard, obviously, because that could have actually been a career-ending injury, not just a season-ending injury. But
it still could be. You don't know he's going to come back, do you? So
yeah,
it
was a proper killer losing him. Like, I mean, it wasn't just Van Dijk though. It was Van Dijk, it was Gomez, and then it was Matip later on here. There are like three main centre halves, and they were gone for the majority of the season. I mean, looking back. You look back at it now, don't you, in hindsight, where he put Fabinho back at centre-back with Henderson, and you think, was that the right decision? Probably not.
No, he should have just kept everything the same apart from the centre-backs.
I was saying the same thing. At the time, I was saying, yeah, Fabinho needs to be at the back.
It's the obvious choice, isn't it? But then it was just upsetting things so much.
Just lost so much going forward and, like, taking the ball off teams in the middle of the park and counter-attacking is a big part of our game, you know what I mean? And we lost all that.
Yeah, I think what I found really weird was the amount of people that were calling for Klopp's head this season because it hadn't lived up to the previous season.
That's just people on Twitter, though. People on Twitter, especially Liverpool fans, just seem to know nothing about football. It's like they've started watching footy in the last 5 years and gone,
yeah,
I'll support Liverpool because they're cool at the minute.
Yeah, I think what concerned me when all this talk was about was that because you've got American owners, that they would, you know, be hasty and then they would all of a sudden just pull the trigger. Because at the end of the day, Klopp's done phenomenal things for you since he came over from Germany, and he's built the team that you've got. And you could have been Mourinho, you could have been Pep, you could have been Pochettino, anybody like that, and they would have still had the same effect on the team if you lose those amount of players. You know, as I said, you lost pretty much the spine of your team. You know, you were out without Trent for a while as well. You know, Alisson had to go back over to Brazil because he had family issues quite a few times as well. The front three weren't firing as well as they were the previous season, so it was a stop-start. But I think Klopp proved how good a manager he is by the run you had towards the end of the season. I don't think anybody would have expected, you know, even if you hadn't made Europe, you had excuses. But to get that run together, to make a Champions League run at the end, that actually turned out to be, in my eyes, probably a better season than your Premier League winning one because of all the hurdles that you had to get over.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, anyone calling for Klopp's head is a Liverpool fan. I mean, I remember when he first came into the club in 2015. The club, there was such a different feel around the club, and when he came in, it was like everything changed. Everything, like, we started to believe that we can actually go out there and win trophies and be successful again. And it hasn't. Anfield has never been like that, you know, for since Rafa, basically. And, you know, we've had managers after Rafa. Speaking of Rafa.
It's funny you mentioned Rafa. What we'll do is I've got two more songs in the system and we're running out of time. So I want to get the next song in anyway. Because Glumstruck Fool is another fantastic song. And it's got a fantastic video to go along with it as well. So if anyone can't have a laugh at watching this video, you don't know what. But I'll put this on now and then we'll get back to talking to Rafa afterwards because there's a lot we can talk about on that one. But here you go. This is Is it another typical day in Liverpool, that, is it? Or?
Standard.
What was you thinking behind the video? That was like obviously the concept for the video.
Yeah, I mean, the song's all about, having to go to work every day, sort of a job that you might not enjoy, getting by the early mornings, the late nights and all that. So, with the Glumstruck Fool, we thought we took that for a clown, and eventually the lad going to work's the Glumstruck Fool, and he turned into a clown at the end. Do you know what? So many memories come back watching that. We had funny day.
It was a good day, that.
We were walking around with two of our mates, just having a fight as clowns, and we were getting some mad looks. It was hilarious.
So it's actually quite another quite fitting little way to go back into Rafa. That are we all think he's a Glumstruck Fool for joining everything?
I mean, he's a brave man going there. He is, yeah.
To be fair, we all thought that once this the takeover that's been prolonged for Newcastle, we always thought he was just naturally going to come back to Newcastle. So we were surprised when he took the Everton job. They were like, it's an unwritten rule, like you don't coach the other side of Stanley Park. Do you know what I mean? It's once you've done out of the Blues, you don't go to the Reds. And if you've managed the Reds, you don't go to the Blues. So I can see he's thinking. Obviously, he lives in Liverpool, loves the area, done a lot for the city, do charity work, and did a lot for Liverpool. Champions League and some of the things he did for your team. And he didn't win anything major for us, but we all loved him. Obviously, I know the red side as well. How do you look at that now? He's gone to the blue side. Does it taint what he did with yourselves, or?
I mean, when he was first going to go there, I was a bit like, you're a Liverpool fan. That should be how it is. You don't go to Everton. But then when I seen the reaction of the Blues, I was a little bit like, actually, this could be all right. They don't like him going there.
He'll always be a legend for what he's done at Liverpool. But I don't like it myself, if I'm honest. It is funny seeing the fume, and inevitably when they don't do well, it'll be funny seeing him go as well.
But at the same time, on Derby Day, we've got banners of Rafa in the Kop. You can't have an Everton manager in the Kop. Know what I mean?
No, but it would be funny though, because I would see the other side of that. I'll be like, look, he's your boss on our flags. So it's like it's over there. Now,
I can't wait for when we're beating them at Anfield in the derby and we're singing Rafa Benitez tunes.
Even if, could you imagine if you were at Goodison though, and you were winning at Goodison, you had the Rafa Benitez flags waving as well though.
They'd hate that. They'd hate that.
Yeah.
I think one of the things, because obviously we all thought he was coming back, and obviously with Newcastle fans, we loved the job he did at Newcastle. Yes, he wasn't everyone's cup of tea because they felt he was a bit ultra defensive and stuff. But I looked at it as that he wasn't given the tools to do the job properly. He did the best he could with the bad tools. He didn't have the money to buy the players he wanted to. He was buying sometimes the fifth choice in his list for that position and stuff. So I think that proves wonders, and everyone was saying, yeah, but he's ultra defensive. Yeah, but that's how he was looking to get results for what he had to offer. I go back to when you won the Champions League with Rafa, and you don't know. Yes, you were losing 3-0 to AC Milan, and you came back to 3-3. You're not an ultra defensive team if you can score 3 goals and a half. Do you know what I mean?
But even He knows how to set a defence up as well, doesn't he? Because even Juventus in the quarterfinals, you go away to Juventus and just close up shop, draw 0-0, win the tie.
Yeah,
he's a master at defence.
Like the old games against Chelsea, where it was like Mourinho was a bit like that.
Yeah,
it was like whoever scores first is going to win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then 14 nowadays is like whoever scores the most wins, and it's like you score 4 threes and all that.
I mean,
yeah. You had to get the 4 threes in there, didn't you, Joe? You had to get the 4
It was on my mind. It was on my mind.
Oh, what, for the whole show since we briefly discussed at the start? Is that why? Yeah, just to rub my nose at the end of the show.
As soon as you knew you were Newcastle.
Yeah. Do you know what? Nah. If it wasn't the end of the show, Joe, right, I would have just done this and just kept on doing that. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean.
You're not
all good, Joe. Seriously. So do you think Rafa will be a success at Everton or not?
No. I think, like, he's got to win, like, 8 of his first 10 games, or there just won't be a good atmosphere there for me.
I think anybody who knows Rafa as a manager, Rafa never starts well. So that could cause a lot of problems if he's trying to win over a fan base that already hates him.
Like half, let's say it's 60-40 in favour. That's not going to take long for the tide to turn. Like, he does need to get off to a good start. But he's a lovable man as well, isn't he? You can't hate the man, especially when he's your manager. So,
I mean,
he could be good for them.
From Everton's point of view, when you're looking at who else is available, Rafa's the best option for them, 100%. When you're looking around, all right, what? Who else are you going to get? Who can come? He's got experience winning. He can win. He can win with teams on the cheap. You know what I mean? He can build the team there, but you've got to trust him and you've got to give him time. I don't think he'll get the time there because, as you say, he might not start well. Might lose the first few games or whatever, and they'll be on his back quick time.
Yeah, I agree. So we'll finish on the red side of discussion. How do you think your season's going to go this year?
Win the league.
league right now, how are you
league double.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think, I might be shooting myself in the foot saying this, but I think we're going to have a good season. I think off the back of last season, they'll be raring to go. A couple more signings, replace Genie, get a striker in, and I think we'll be there challenging again.
I'm a little bit worried, if I'm honest, like, because if we don't sign a midfielder or an attacker, we're gonna get caught up with Chelsea, United are strengthening. You can't let your most durable midfielder go and then not replace him. It just doesn't make sense to me. But hopefully, we'll get something over the line.
Justin Klopp, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's all you can do. It's just horrible when we've got to see a trust in Bruce.
Trust in his big head.
Oh, seriously. As soon as this takeover hopefully goes through and we can get rid of him, I'll be over the moon.
If you were sitting behind the dugout, wouldn't you? You wouldn't see a thing.
Well, it's going to be quite, because he's had it pretty lucky. The amount of obviously he's had all St James' part of last year has been behind closed doors, and he reckons he's had a hard job. I'm telling you what, if he'd had 52,000 screaming Geordies there, he would have known exactly what it was like to find it hard. I'm telling you. So, you know what's like. The Liverpool fans are very, very similar to Newcastle fans. We're passionate about our club, and we're not afraid to tell the owners, the manager, what we think if we don't like what we're saying on the pitch. End of. So, but lads, it's come that time where unfortunately I've got to say goodbye. But I would like to, if everyone on behalf of Loaded and our listeners on the Away Day Radio, much appreciate that you come on the show. It's been a great hour. I've really, really enjoyed having a good crack with you. Playing some of the fantastic tunes that you've put out there. I wish you all the best in the future with whatever you've got planned. I know you've got those few gigs as well. But I'll have a quick chat with you in the green room after I play out this song, which was a cover that you did over lockdown. It seemed to be the band theme, like a lot of bands' themes over lockdown to put covers out there. So what was you thinking by doing this cover?
Trying to look for something a little bit outside the box, something people wouldn't really expect, and try and make it our own a little bit. It's not really the energetic Merchants tunes we heard today, but
it's definitely not that. But it's still a great cover. So, as I said, thank you very much. Thank you everyone at home for watching and all our listeners on Away Day Radio. And this is the Merchants cover of No Diggity.
Getting paid by the pound. Getting paid is a forte, each and every day to play away. I can't get her out of my mind. I think about the girl all the time. East side to the west side, pushing fat rides, causing no surprise. She got tips in a stack, stacking up cash, fast when it comes to the gas. By no means average, she's on when she's got to have it. Babe, you're the perfect 10. I like the way you work it, no diggity, I gotta bag it up. I like the way you work it, no diggity, I gotta bag it up. I like the way you work it, no diggity, I gotta bag it up. I like the way you work it out. And she's got class and style, street knowledge by the mile. And baby, don't act wild, she's very low-key on the profile. Got you feeling dizzy, no, but let me tell you how it goes. Curves the world and spins the verb, but love machine curves are free, quite you heard. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh. Man, that girl look good. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh. Lay on, lay on. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh. She got class and style. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh. No diggity, got no child. I like the way you work it, no diggity, I gotta bag it up. I like the way you work it, no diggity, I gotta bag it up. I like the way you work it, no diggity, I gotta bag it up.